right, welcome to Tuesday morning yoga on March 9th, 2021. Yesterday was International Women's Day, so I'll wish you a happy belated Women's Day today. It's unfortunate that we have to have a day, but it's also kind of nice that we have a day to ourselves. So you can go ahead and get on your mat and lay down. If you like, you could plant your feet with your knees bent and relax those knees in toward each other so they're supporting each other. I think we got Shelly back.
Yes.
Good, good. Okay, so Shelly, you can go ahead and get on your mat and find a comfortable place and lie down. I hope everyone will be able to see well enough. It's pretty dark today, so I have turned on a lamp. I'm a little bit afraid of being backlit, but if people are having trouble seeing me, just hit the chat or send me a little reaction so that I know that that's an issue and can fix it. So once you come onto your mat, you can relax your face and allow your gaze to soften, or you can close your eyes and take a few really nice, big, deep breaths all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, entirely filling the lungs, holding for just a moment, and then releasing. And as you release your breath, you feel tension release, you feel effort flow out, and you feel yourself letting go of the busyness that you've been holding on to. Again, nice big inhale. Hold it for a moment. Let it go. Release the nervous energy. Release the preoccupations that have been keeping you tied to your day. You can put them all aside for now and come back to them later. But for now, this time, the next hour is for you and you alone on your mat to make time for yourself. One more big breath. Inhale all the way to the bottom of the lungs. Sigh it out. Feel your body soften in response. Imagine that you can visualize gravity and you can see this warm, gentle force pulling you down into the mat. There's no resistance. You're just allowing yourself to melt into softness. And then I'll invite you to just check in with your body. Notice areas of your body that are feeling loose and soft and relaxed, and other areas that might be resisting that softening, maybe holding on to some tension. But we're not judging. We're just noticing how we feel. There's no right or wrong way to feel. So just checking in. Maybe taking a quick scan of the body, noticing the toes, traveling up over the feet, over the ankles. You could maybe turn some little circles with your ankles. And traveling up over the shins. You can flex and release your calf muscles. Noticing how the knees are nice and soft. Traveling over the quads. Again, you could flex your quad muscles by gently pulling your toes up toward you a little bit and then releasing. The hips are soft on the mat. You wiggle your hips, see if you can make a little bit more room for your lower back. Your spine is very nice and long on the mat. And your shoulders are relaxed against the floor, pushing down away from the ears. Your arms are heavy and passive. Perhaps they're resting at your side, or maybe you've chosen to put your hands over your heart or over your belly. No matter what, those arms are heavy and relaxed, no resistance. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly as you effortlessly breathe. You can check in with your throat and neck. You could clear your throat, swallow, separate the biting surfaces of your teeth, maybe open and close your mouth a few times. Make sure that jaw is relaxed. Hold so much tension in our jaws. Feel the muscles in your face becoming very relaxed and passive. Your brow is relaxed. I know for myself quite often I feel like my entire facial expression often is coming from my eyebrows. So I really consciously try and relax that part of my face. And even the top of your head is relaxed and feeling warm. Your head is heavy on the mat. No resistance. You're not trying to hold anything up. And then you can begin to turn your attention toward your practice breath. So a nice gentle inhale through the nose to the count of 4. Hold for a moment at the top and then exhale. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Find the rhythm that works for your breath. Could be slower or faster than what I've suggested. Just settle into a rhythm that feels right for you and really focus in on setting that rhythm. Once you do that for 10 or 12 cycles of breath, it's like a switch flips in your brain, and then that breathing becomes much more automatic. You don't have to think about it so much anymore. It can fall to the back of your consciousness. And as you keep working on that breathing rhythm, you need to call to mind a concept, a word, an intention for your practice today. Something that you would like to cultivate for yourself or perhaps for someone else, perhaps for the world in general. It could be a short phrase, it could be a mantra, it could just be a single word. When you bring something to mind, you can say it to yourself 3 times silently. And then you can start to add in some gentle movement to go with your breath. So you might start by just wiggling fingers and toes gently. And then perhaps taking some circles in the ankles and the wrists. And then if you circled one way, you can circle the other. And then you can bring your arms out to the side and then stretch them long overhead. Make your legs get long. You can point your toes, get as long as you can. And then I'd like you to hug your knees toward your torso. Take a hold of your shins and ball yourself up into a tiny little ball, even pulling your forehead. So encouraging your forehead up toward your knees, getting into a tiny little ball, holding for a breath. And then you can relax your head back down, but keep a hold of your knees. So you're encouraging that right knee toward the right armpit, the left knee toward the left armpit. And if you like, you could add a little gentle rocking motion, just a very small rocking motion back and forth. Just giving the sacrum a little massage. Sometimes it's a really nice feeling to just gently rock on your back. And then keep that right knee hugging in toward your torso. You can let the left leg go long on the mat. If you prefer a little bit more of a moderate version, you could plant your left foot on the mat with your left knee bent, or you can have that left leg fully extended on the mat, whichever works better for your body. So keep hugging that right knee in and encourage it out to the right side. So opening the hip here, bringing the right knee out to the side, finding a little hip opening there. And then you can bring the right knee straight again. Take your right hand on your knee. You can also use your left hand, and using your leg like a stir stick, you can begin to get into your hip joint. So doing nice big circles with the hands on the knee, aiming to get movement right in the hip. Nice and slow, big circles. And then you can pause and then circle in the other direction. Again, nice, big, slow movement. Very exaggerated. And then you can hug that right knee back in toward your torso. If you can, take a hold behind your right thigh. So if you could intertwine the fingers and then actively push that right foot up toward the ceiling. So really pushing through the heel, peeling the toes back toward yourself. Do not worry about getting your leg anywhere near straight. That is not what the goal is here. We're just finding length here, extension, activating hamstrings, and then you can alternate between pointing the right toes and flexing them back toward you. So point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. And then you can take circles with that ankle, nice and slow, going in one direction. Noticing how that feels on the nerves in your feet and up the legs. And then when you're feeling right, you can reverse that motion, going the other way. And bring the ankle back to stillness. Hug that right knee back in toward your torso again. And you can send that right leg long on the mat. Switch it up. Hug the left knee in toward the left armpit. Take a hold of the left knee with both hands. And then again, I want you to do that really nice, big, exaggerated stirring motion, getting into the hip joint, just gradually opening. Holy cow, it started snowing really hard out. So we're getting a mixed bag here. We're getting a little bit of everything today. And then reverse direction. Nice big circles, stirring into the hip joint. And then hugging that knee in again, taking a hold behind the left thigh. If you like, you can intertwine those fingers, actively pushing the left heel up toward the ceiling. Again, not working on getting the leg straight, just finding sensation here. Actively pushing that heel upward, peeling the toes back towards ourselves, and then alternating point and flex and point, flex, moving nice and slow, point and flex, point and flex, and then slow circles with the foot, getting into the ankle, noticing how that feels on the nerves in your feet, outside of your leg. And then when you're feeling ready, reverse that motion. Good. And then bring that ankle back to stillness. Hug that left knee in toward the left armpit. And you're going to let that leg go long on the mat. Gently roll yourself. Oops. Sorry. Can everyone still hear me? Gently roll yourself over onto your side. And you can pause there for a moment before gently bringing yourself up to sit on your mat. Your choice. You could take a cross-legged seat, or if you prefer, leave your legs extended in front of you. No matter which variation of a seat you take, make sure that you sit up really nice and tall. You can even scoop the flesh out from under your sits bones and make sure that those bones are firmly connected to the floor. Sitting up nice and tall, like there's an invisible string pulling you up from the top of your head, and then ducking the head down and slowly beginning to take circles with the head and neck. Really big, exaggerated motion, pausing anywhere where you feel like you need a little extra attention. And when it's feeling good on that side, you can reverse direction. Again, pausing anywhere you feel you might need to work it out a little bit. And gently bring your head back upright. Take your right hand, take it up and over your head, and bring that right hand onto your left ear. Then let the weight of your hand gently draw your head to the right. You're not pulling your head, you're just letting the weight of that hand give your head some traction, getting a little stretch through the left side of the neck. Really lengthen that neck. So try not to let yourself collapse forward or down. Keep that neck really nice and long. And you can release, and then we'll reach up and over with the left hand. Bring the hand onto the right ear. Again, letting the weight of that hand give us some traction. Pulling the right, not pulling, sorry, encouraging the right side of the neck to lengthen. And you can release. We'll walk our right hand out to the side. Stretch the left arm up and over, getting a nice big side stretch. Breathing into the left side of the rib cage, really feeling it open and expand. And slowly coming upright, bringing the left hand down, walking it up and over, out to the side. Right arm actively stretching up overhead. Right side of the body gets really long. And inhale, expand your rib cage. And then coming upright, we'll bring our arms out into a T. You bring your right arm underneath your left arm, could bring the hands onto the shoulders, or continue wrapping for eagle arms. In either version, push your elbows up, duck your head forward and down, and really round in the upper spine. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. And release. Open your arms. Bring the left onto the right. Again, option to bring the hands onto the shoulders or continue wrapping. Push those elbows up. Duck your head forward and down. Round in the upper spine. And release. The arms come out open. Your choice, you could remain cross-legged if you're already there, or if your legs are extended in front of you, plant left foot, leave a bit of fist width of distance between the right thigh and the left foot. Make sure you roll the right thigh up so that your foot's not sort of hanging out to the side. You want to rotate that thigh up and in a little bit. You can bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee, or if you like, you could aim to bring the outside of your right elbow to that left knee. Left hand goes directly behind you. Inhale to get tall. Exhale to twist. Check in with the head and neck. Make sure that you're not leading with the head and neck. So if you are, loosen it. Let your head drop. Feel the twist coming right from the base of the spine. And allow yourself to relax into it. So with each exhale, melt into it just a little bit deeper. And release. And if you have your legs bent, you can bend them the other way. Again, making sure that left thigh is rolling up and in. You can bring the left hand or the outside of the left elbow to the right knee. Right hand goes straight behind. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, relax into the twist. Loosening the head and neck. Feeling the twist coming right from the base of the spine. Melting into it a little softer with each exhale. And release. No matter where you are, straighten your legs out in front of you. You can zip your legs together. Actively peel your toes back toward you. Hands are down by your side. Gently walk those hands forward. Start coming into a very gentle forward fold. So the head and neck can relax. Come into a place where your hamstrings begin to activate. So you might not have to go very far at all to feel that happen, especially as your toes are engaged and pulling back toward you. You might feel this in the back of the legs or even in the back. And then come up to sit. Your hands can be out at your sides. Rock back onto your tailbone. Lift your shins parallel to the ground. You can either flex the toes or point the feet, either one, as long as those feet are actively engaged. And then, if you like, lift the arms, coming into boat. Hold your abdomen steady so your chest is broad. Your chest is pulling forward. It's like someone's pulling you straight from your heart up and forward. Engage the abdomen. Breathe deep. One more breath. Good. And release. Feet and hands can come down. And we'll bring the legs around to the side, coming into our tabletop position. So your wrists can be underneath your shoulders, or if you find that that's a little touchy on your wrists, set your wrists about 6 inches forward of there. Your hips will be directly over your knees, and engage your lower belly so that the small of your back completely flattens out and you are truly a flat table. On your inhale, drop that belly down, raise the hips, head can look forward and maybe up depending on your range. Exhale, reverse the motion, so head comes down, hips come down, push up between the shoulder blades. Inhale, belly drops, head comes forward and maybe up. Exhale, coming into cat, rounding the spine, pushing up between the shoulder blades. Inhale, belly comes down, looking forward for cow. Exhale, reverse, coming into cat. Take 3 more rounds of cat and cow with your own breath. So you could add in a little bit of wiggle. Maybe you look over your right shoulder toward your toes and then look over the left shoulder. Pause anywhere where you might like to hang out a little bit longer. And once you come to the end of your 3rd round of cat and cow, we'll just meet back up and table. So you have 2 options for downward facing dog. The first, set your arms about 9 to 12 inches ahead of where they were. So putting the hands forward, really actively pushing the balls of your hands, so the base of your fingers into the mat. You can turn your toes under, open your heart toward the floor. So that's your variation of downward facing dog on your knees. So if you're happy here, stay exactly here. Keep the heart opening to the floor. If you'd like to come into the standing version, you can hike your hips up and back, coming onto the feet, and then alternating, pedaling out your legs. No matter where you are, really nice, big, deep breaths. Everybody is opening their chest toward the floor. Strong hands, strong arms. So that those hands are really actively pushing down into the mat. No matter where you are, take 1 more big breath. And then we'll all make our way to the top of the mat. So you're either coming onto your feet or walking your feet towards your hands at the top of the mat. We'll meet up in a forward fold at the top of the mat. You can bring your hands onto your shins, and then we'll inhale and come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, folding down again. Inhale, come halfway up, come to your flat back. Exhale, forward fold 1 more time. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, fold. You can allow your arms to dangle down, or if you like, hold one arm and the other, cradle those arms, coming into ragdoll. So leave a micro bend in your knees, and then allow yourself to gently sway in the breeze. No resistance here, just complete softness. Finding some nice gentle motion to encourage the hamstrings open. And perhaps the breeze gets a little bit stronger and maybe your swaying becomes a little bit more active, perhaps even adding a bounce in. Perhaps your torso is really twisting from side to side. And then you can bring yourself back to stillness at center. Release your arms if you had hold of them. Micro bend in those knees and slowly all the way up to stand at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms come overhead, getting tall, perhaps gazing up toward the fingertips. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Hands can come out of the mat, deep bend in the knees. Step both feet all the way to the back of the mat and then lower onto the knees, untuck the toes. So you're making a nice long line from your shoulders all the way back to your knees. If you notice that your bum is up a little bit, try and squeeze it in, engage the abdomen. You are a plank. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze your elbows in toward yourself. Lower slowly with control. Coming all the way down. Forehead can come down. Hands remain under the shoulders. Inhale the head up for cobra. No resistance in the hands. You can float your fingers up. Exhale, forehead comes down. We'll take 2 more of those. So inhale, head comes up. Lifting right from the lower back. Exhale, head comes down. 1 more time. Inhale, head up. Lift the fingertips. Stay for 1 more breath. And exhale, head comes down. Turn your toes under. Push up onto your knees again, and then your choice of downward facing dog. So either set your hands a little further forward for the kneeling version, opening your heart toward the floor, or hike the hips up and back, coming into the standing version. No matter where you are, nice big breaths here. One more deep breath. And then we will slowly come to the mat at the top of the mat again. So coming onto your feet and slowly rolling all the way up to stand. So starting at the top of our mat again. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, part your arms, sit down in the imaginary chair. So get your bum as low as you can. If that's a bit much for the shoulders, just bring your hands onto your shoulders. Focus on trying to get those thighs parallel to the ground. And if you feel like your bum's sticking out, if you feel like your lower back is curved, scoop your bum under. So you actually want to round the lower back a little bit. So scoop that tailbone under. See if you can get those thighs a little lower. Keep breathing. Big power pose here. 1 more breath. And release. Fold forward. Sigh it out. You can sway a little bit if you want to. And then rolling all the way back up. Good. We're going to bring our hands onto our hips and preparing ourselves to step back into warrior 2. So standing up nice and straight first, picking up the right foot, taking a giant step with that right foot to the back of the mat. So the right edge of the foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat. Your left heel is in direct alignment with your right arch. If you are noticing that your left ankle is under your left knee, sneak that left foot forward a little bit more. Left arm comes straight forward, right arm straight back. Lunge into that front leg. Keep the torso upright, abdomen's engaged, and with your left big toe, push your left knee out to the side. So don't let that knee collapse in, really actively push it out. Nice and strong. You are a warrior. We will add in our archer arms. So inhale, right arm forward. Exhale, draw it back. If you like, you can follow your hand with your eyes, but you don't have to. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale it forward. Exhale back. 1 more breath. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw it back. Head comes forward again. Scoop your left hand up and back. scooping that air back, coming into a revolved warrior. Your right hand can come down on your right leg. Thinking about getting tall and opening the left side of the chest while continuing to lunge forward and down. Big breath. And bring your arms back to warrior two, maintaining that lunge. One more breath. And then gently straighten out the left leg. So you're rising up a little bit. You don't have to lock that leg straight, but rise up and straighten it quite a bit. Reach as far forward as you can with the left arm and then rotate it down. So it could come to the thigh or the shin, the ankle, or to the floor, finding your version of triangle. Right arm is powerful, right up overhead. Right fingers are splayed, very powerful hand. You can look to the side, or if you like to challenge your balance, you could try looking up toward your fingers. No matter where you are, breathe deep. One more big breath. Slowly bring your right arm down to the mat. Turn onto your right toes, so you're coming into a runner's lunge. Take the right side of your mat, fold it over, and then bring your right knee down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. If your block is nearby, grab it, put it right by the instep of your left foot. Bring the hands onto the left thigh and bring yourself upright over your hips. Good. We're going to come into lizard, so we'll need room to lunge forward and down. So make sure that the left ankle is well ahead of the left knee. If you need to, sneak that out a little bit further. Getting nice and tall. Inhale to begin. On an exhale, sink those hips forward and down. You can stay with your hands on your thigh if that's feeling nice and stable, or if you like, you could bring your arms to the inside of your left leg and come down onto the block, or maybe even all the way down onto the floor. Find a place where you feel steady and you feel like you can just come to stillness for quite a few breaths. Allowing gravity and time to help us do some really important work here. On an exhale, I want you to just back your hips out a little bit. So come halfway out. And then on your next exhale, bring your backs or your hips forward and down again, coming back into the full expression. Maybe it feels slightly different when you come back in. And on your next exhale, release. You can draw your hips back. Bring your left foot back by your right. And you can move your block off to the side, unfold your mat, arrange it again. Bring your knees as wide as your mat, toes are touching, hips are back on the heels. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Arms are stretched up overhead, coming into happy baby, coming into child's pose. If you like, you could even tent up onto your fingertips and really open your heart toward the ground, maybe getting a little bit of an opening through the underarms here. And then yogi's choice, you can take kneeling downward facing dog or the standing version. No matter which, come to that pose, stay for a couple of breaths. And slowly make your way back to the top of the mat on your feet. and roll all the way up to stand. Good, so we'll take it on the other side now. So, oh, sorry, bring your hands to your hips. Take a giant step with your left foot to the back of the mat. Sneak it back if you need to. Let the back of your left foot aligns with the back of your mat. Your right heel aligns with your back arch. So if you need to shift that, go ahead. Right ankle is well ahead of your right knee. Right arm comes forward, left arm comes back. Lunge forward and down for your warrior two. Try and get that thigh parallel to the ground. Push the right knee out to the right side. Make sure the abdomen is engaged. You're nice and tall. And then add in your arms. So inhale the left arm forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back. One more time. Inhale forward. And exhale, draw back. If your head turned, slowly look forward again. Turn your right palm up. Scoop the air up and back, coming into revolved warrior. Left hand can come down to the left thigh. Really getting tall and long through the right side of the body, but continuing to lunge forward and down. Big breath here. And rotate back to your warrior two. Stay for a breath. Straighten that front leg out. Not locked it straight, but just straighten it. Rise up a little. Reach as far forward as you can with the right arm. Rotate that right arm down. Could come on the thigh, the shin, the ankle, or the floor. Left arm is really up, straight overhead, powerful left fingers, very energetic. If you wanted, you could attempt to look up toward your left hand, just an option. One more breath. And then slowly bring the left arm down. Left hand comes down on the mat. Rotate onto your left toes. And then fold the left side of your mat over. Bring the left knee down. Untuck the toes. Grab your block if you like. Bring it by your right instep. Your hands can come onto your right thigh. Bring yourself up over your hip. Preparing to lunge forward and down. So we want to sneak that right foot forward so that we have lots of room to lunge. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, let the hips sink forward and down. You could stay exactly as you are with your hands on your thigh. If you wanted to explore going a little further, you could bring your hands down onto your block, or maybe you could even bring them down onto the floor. No matter where you are, try and find stillness. Allow yourself to slow down the breath and lengthen it. On your next exhale, slowly back your hips halfway out. Stay for an inhale. And then on the next exhale, sink the hips back forward and down. Maybe there's an ever so slight change there. And on your next exhale, you can release. If your hands are anywhere else, you can bring them down to the ground. Draw the right foot back by your left foot. Set your block off to the side. Unfold the mat. This time, bring your knees together and your heels are together, just coming into a variation on child's pose. And your torso can come forward. Forehead comes down toward the mat. If you like, you could really stretch your arms forward. Bring your elbows onto the ground and then bring your hands into prayer on the back of your head. Some people found they can get a little stretch through the back of the arms here. It's just an option to explore, not mandatory. And if your arms were not extended, you can extend them now. Come up on hands and knees. Again, yogi's choice, either kneeling downward facing dog or coming up onto the feet. Staying for a breath. And then we'll all meet up on our feet at the top of the mat, rolling all the way up to stand. You can make your way toward a place where you'd like to balance right now. So if you know you'd like to move closer to the wall or by a piece of furniture, you can go there now. We'll set up for our tree. So feet are narrow hip width apart, abdomen is engaged, hands can come onto the hips. The shoulders are broad, down away from the ears. Before you go anywhere, set your gaze on a non-moving point a few meters ahead of you and just let your gaze rest there. Slowly transfer your weight over the right foot. Inhale the left leg up, bring that left knee out to the side, and then find a place for that left foot to plant. So it could be the shin, could be the ankle, could be toes down. Find a place where you can balance. Actively engage your bum. So squeeze your bum up and in, abdomen's engaged, hands can come to heart center. And then you can explore growing your tree on this side. If you sway or fall out, that's perfectly fine. Everybody sways a little bit in tree. Trees are never completely static. And if your hands are up, slowly bring them back toward heart center and then down to the hips. Inhale your free leg up. Exhale it straight and then try and lower it slowly and with control. Good work. You can transfer your weight to the other foot, shake that standing leg out, and then we'll set up for the other side. So fixing our gaze on that non-moving point, transfer the weight slowly to the left. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale that knee to the side. Find a place for the right foot to plant. Engage your bum. Squeeze everything up and in. Hands can come to heart center. Again, not becoming bothered by any swaying or shaking. Just go with it. If you fall out, just get back in again. One more breath. If your arms are up, bring your hands back through heart center, down to the hips. Inhale that free leg up, straighten it out, and slowly bring it down to the mat. Good work. We're going to come into squat. So your choice. If you prefer to do your squat from seated, bring yourself down ahead of time. Bring your knees wider than your hips. Your feet are out on 45-degree angle. And you can bring the backs of your upper arms to the insides of the knees. Bring the hands to prayer to encourage the hips to open. Same thing if you're starting from standing. So feet a little wider than hips. Hands can come to heart center. Inhale to get tall. Exhale, slowly sink the hips down towards the earth. Try and keep your body from leaning forward. If you find that you're leaning forward, bring that chest upright, make it broad. If you're coming down from standing, you could wiggle around a little bit once you come down. So no matter which variation you're in, just encouraging those hips to open. Hands can come to heart center. Keep your chest broad. Keep the torso upright. Allow yourself to find a place to be still and just allow the opening to happen. There's no forcing, there's no trying, there's just letting go and giving it some time. Keep your breath moving. Allow yourself to sit in sensation, not reacting to it, just noticing. If you like, you could close your eyes and focus your attention on your breath. Two more breaths. And one more. If you're not already down on your bottom, slowly bring yourself down to the mat. Plant your feet in front of you, and you can leave your arms at your sides, or you could bring your arms onto each other. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth, rolling up onto the hip. You're getting a little hip massage here. And then coming to stillness, bring the knees together and wrap your arms underneath your knees. Come into a restorative forward fold. Allow your head to relax down toward your legs. If you're happy right here, I invite you to stay exactly as you are. If you'd like to explore folding a little deeper, you could bring your arms out to your sides, extend your legs straight, actively peel those toes back toward you, and continue folding, letting the chest and neck and head be really relaxed here. No matter where you are, slowly roll back upward. Again, plant the feet again if they're not already planted. Allow the knees to come out to either side, making a diamond shape with the legs. The feet are quite a distance away from your hips, sitting up nice and straight. Hands could come by your ankles. And again, allowing yourself to fold, finding a little opening in the outsides of the hips this time. If you find you come to a place where you're, for lack of a better word, stuck, you gently raise and lower your knees a few times like butterfly wings. And see if that allows you to fold forward a little bit more. One more breath. And then slowly coming upright. We can plant the feet again. If you're not lengthwise on your mat, turn yourself that way now. Bring your hands onto your knees. Bring your torso upright. Really broaden through your chest. Release the knees. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lower yourself back onto your back with as much control as you can. So lowering really slowly, making every movement count here until you finally come back onto your back. Feet are planted just below your hips. Hands can come down by your hips, palms pressing into the mat, preparing for bridge. Inhale to get ready. Exhale, push those hips up toward the sky. So backs of the arms, palms, and feet are all actively pushing down into the mat. Hips raise higher the harder we push down. With each exhale, see if you can get those hips a little higher. One more breath. And release. Hips can come down to the ground. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. And we'll set up for round 2. So feet are planted. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push the hips up toward the sky. Option here, you could roll your shoulders under and clasp your hands behind your back if you'd like to try that. Sometimes that bind can help you get your hips a little higher. Keep the feet and backs of the arms actively pushing down to the mat. One more big breath. If your hands are clasped, release them from under your back. Lower the hips down. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Arms can come out into a T beside you. Cross your right leg over your left with no gap between the thighs. Ever so slightly, bring the hips over to the right, and then you can lower your knees entirely over to the left. If you had your block nearby and you'd like to use it, you can put your block right by your left hip and allow your legs to relax over onto that. So it's a little bit, it's a wedge right by your hip so that your legs can really completely relax. You don't have to hold anything here. Just make sure that that right shoulder stays very actively plugged down into the mat. So if your right shoulder has lifted, maybe come out of your twist a little bit so that that shoulder can stay down. If you're in your twist and you'd like to explore going a little deeper, you could look over your right shoulder. Just an option though. Don't have to take it. And if your head is turned, slowly bring it back upright. Bring the knees upright and uncross the legs. Straighten the hips out. If you have your block, you can bring that over by your right hip now. So send the hips ever so slightly to the left this time. Cross the left leg over the right, no gap between the thighs, and then gently lower the knees over to the right. Again, you could be using that block as a wedge so that your legs can completely relax onto something. Make sure that left shoulder blade stays in constant contact with the mat. So if it doesn't, come out of your twist a little bit. And then if you wanted to explore this a little more deeply, you could look over your left shoulder. Again, not necessary, just something you could try. And slowly bring the head back upright. Raise the knees. You can remove the block and uncross the legs. Again, I invite you to hug the knees in toward the torso, just like we did at the beginning of practice. If you're happy here, you could stay here. Maybe massage the lower back a little bit. You could reach your arms through the insides of the knees taking a hold of the outside of the feet and drawing the feet up toward the ceiling, coming into happy baby. Either variation, give yourself a little back massage. And then if there are any other movements you'd like to end your practice, so maybe you'd like to stretch the legs a little more, or maybe you just like to take a nice, gentle, full body stretch, go ahead and do that. And then you can make your way into a comfortable position for Shavasana. So you may want a blanket or a pillow under the knees, or you could plant the feet a little wider than hip width. Allow the knees to relax in toward each other. No matter which variation you pick, just pick your hips up ever so slightly off the floor and settle them back down so you have lots of room for your lower back. Arms could rest by your side, or if you'd like to conserve some of the heat and energy that you've built during your practice, bring your right hand onto your belly and your left hand over your heart. Once you come into a comfortable resting position, take a few of those really nice big reset breaths. So inhaling deep all the way into the base of the lungs, filling entirely up to the top. Hold for a moment. Exhale, let everything go. Let the intention for your practice go. Let effort go. Allow yourself to fall into a very deep relaxation. Again, 2 more times. Inhale all the way to the top. Hold for a moment. Exhale, let everything go. There's nothing more to attempt, to put effort into, or to achieve at all. You can just allow yourself to be in this moment. One more deep breath. Release everything. There's nothing that you need to attend to right now. Everything else can wait while you allow yourself the time and space to absorb the benefits of your practice. If you find that your mind wanders during Shavasana, just gently encourage it to come back by focusing on your breath. Minds do wander sometimes, so don't worry about it, but just draw your mind toward your breath. You can begin to bring your awareness back to your body, checking in and noticing how you might be feeling differently than you did at the beginning of practice. Um, Maybe some of the areas that we're feeling a little tense, a little conservative, have loosened, feeling warm and relaxed. You can recall the intention that you set for yourself or for the world at the beginning of your practice and say it to yourself 3 times silently. After your third time saying it, take a deep inhale, exhale, and with that exhale, release your intention out into the world. When you're feeling ready, slowly roll over onto your right side. Gently bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Sitting nice and tall, shoulders down away from your ears. You can close your eyes and bring your hands to heart center. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop, and that's Rumi. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste. All right, so we will